All right, here we are, everybody.
One
Sermon recap
one more time.
podcast. Nope, that's the last time. That goes in. That's in it. Good to see y'all. We're cutting up as always. We
Can you see
always
'em?
stir up a bunch of stuff. Yes, I can see them.
Okay.
No, I can't see y'all, but we try to make it very personable as if I can see you. But no, I cannot see anybody through the camera. They're listening. It's great for me to imagine that you people are out there listening to the podcast or watching or however you are, and you get a glimpse into the foolishness we carry on with regularly.
Yeah, every once in a while.
It's good to be with y'all.
We got a new little individual on the
New
podcast.
little
Yeah.
individual.
Little-
He's not a new little individual.
Yeah.
We have the one and only Luke
He's not
Jenkins
normally on the
with us
podcast. That's
tonight.
what I was
Just-
trying to get to.
I don't know what the
Occasional.
little implied, but he's Luke Jenkins.
Yeah.
Yay.
Bigger than
That's
life. Luke
me.
Jenkins. He preached this weekend. Luke,
Yeah.
you did a fantastic job. I heard
I
a lot of good
appreciate that.
feedback on your message, and I'm so glad to have you
Yeah.
on staff on this wonderful team. Glad to have you as our campus pastor for
That's
a new
right.
location, opening up at West Henderson in October. We're excited about
Super
that.
excited about that.
Yeah, that's gonna be
absolutely.
fun. It's good to have you on the stage this weekend, bringing the word.
It's always
Even
awesome to
though
be able to
third
get up there.
service, you confused Josiah
Oh,
and your wife.
That was mean. You guys set me up on that one. No one tells the preacher or whoever's preaching that, hey, there's a switch back there. Don't
Welcome
worry.
to my world.
I heard all about it afterwards. So.
But I've learned before you throw it over to the worship, you got to look back and
yeah,
see
I know
who's
that
actually
now.
there.
I know that now. He came, Jessica, she came out and started playing. And I thought to myself, I heard it, and I was like, oh, Josiah's playing keys this time. And I didn't think he'd look or anything. But next time I'll look before I speak. So
Other individuals have made mistakes before by calling people the wrong name that are
Yeah,
on the platform.
I
So
have heard
Like
that as
Greg and Danielle instead of Garrett and Danielle.
that is accurate.
That's the one.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
another one there.
well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
The difference between Greg and Garrett is far less than between Josiah and
much so.
Jessica.
they still start with the
Very
same
much so.
letter.
They do start
That's
with same letter.
true both times.
So
All
They
right.
do. They do
I'm trying to
look
give you some-
different. So
I'm just wondering how many people have left this podcast already saying,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
probably
this is
so.
nothing but garbage in
Lowest
this one."
viewership ever.
last time I'm on the podcast, this is great.
We'll blame
Drop
Luke.
it.
Blame me.
Luke, you
So-
preached on a great story in the New Testament of Jesus coming to walk on the water and meeting the disciples in the middle of a storm.
Mm-hmm.
I loved how you brought it out that Jesus actually sent them out into the boat, into this storm.
Yeah, they're
You talk now.
yeah done.
That's your
I'll take
cue.
it. I'll take it. My cue. No, I mean that comes from really a personal experience with that. Everyone thinks you make Jesus the Lord of your life and it's smooth sailing, but there have been many times where I've followed something He's told me to do and it got a little rocky. But I think I mentioned it in one of the services. If I'm going to face a storm, I want to face it with Him,
Yeah.
rather than without Him. So, but yeah.
There are folks out there who want to believe that everywhere Jesus sends you is going to be peaceful.
Yeah.
That wasn't true for him.
Mm-mm.
If you take an honest look at the life of Jesus, it wasn't true in his life.
Yeah.
Man, he walked right into storm after storm after storm personally.
Yep.
I'm thinking, just got through Passion Week, he was telling the disciples the whole time, I'm going to Jerusalem and I'm going to get crucified there. And I'm thinking he's on the road going down to Jerusalem. He's about to get on that donkey and ride in. I'm thinking, does he not have to have thoughts again and again?
No,
Why don't I turn and get out of here? This
Yeah.
is not going to end, at least temporarily, it's not going to end well, And
Mhm.
so he does direct us into some things that are going to be difficult.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Luke, you had so many great, powerful truths in this message that you kept bringing out. I'm curious though, what was the big takeaway for you in this message? What was it about this that you just kind of walked away from? Yeah, this God's shaping my life through this part right here.
Yeah. I guess really the Lord started dealing with me about this topic and this story really over the last couple of months. I hit it on Sunday. When we took that step of faith to step into this campus pastor role, that was us getting into the boat, going to the other side. And, man, we listened to His voice. We were acting, but, I think the biggest part for me is, yeah, we're already out there on the water, and it's just making sure our eyes are where they need to be. It's so easy to get focused on the distractions, on the storms, on the waves, on the nose, that it can take our focus off of why he called us to do what he called us to do. And so I think that's the biggest takeaway
good.
for me was, yeah, I've heard his voice. I've taken the step, but, I'm out here and he's out there with me. But a lot of times our situations, our circumstances can make us feel like he's not. And I think for me, just that focus part of everything is what hit home with me. So
I remember when I first met Luke, I would give him a hard time because we go into restaurants. And I guess he still does.
I was going to say, would give me a hard time.
Still does give you a hard time. You can see when he's looking at a menu, his mind is going. He's really wanting to get the right thing because he doesn't want to get the wrong thing.
Yep.
And I'm leading with that
Okay.
too. I don't think you are by nature a risk taker. Is that right, Luke? By nature, you don't want to. I can say this about Luke Jenkins. He does not want to make a mistake in anything. He doesn't want to do the wrong thing. So I thought it was cool of how you are teaching on getting out into that uncomfortable thing, an uncomfortable storm. I thought you were the perfect person to teach that.
Yeah, it's risk is definitely not my first choice.
Right.
I'm not afraid of it, but it does take me a while to get up to taking it. So yeah, it was interesting. Jessica and I actually had talked about that. Here I am talking about taking risks, and I'm probably the safest person that I know. So, but yeah, it's funny how he calls you to do that stuff.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. I've seen you grow so much in the years that you've been here in that very area, and a lot of others, and I'm proud of you for that. You really have and are doing an excellent job, and are going to do one of the greatest things you'll ever do here is launch this campus. So we're excited for that.
I appreciate you. Thank you for pushing me to do that. So,
yeah. Well, don't make it like a
no, not in a bad. Oh my goodness,
in
not
this
in
story,
a bad way.
In the story, there was no one pushing Peter
Peter
out of the
walked
boat,
on the water
but
on his own.
Maybe I should say encouraging that.
You-
How about that?
Maybe if I'd been one of
John's
the 12,
over there knocking him out of the boat.
if I'd been one of
Get
the
out,
12,
Peter.
I'd have been like, "Go, Peter,
Get
go,
out.
man! You go
You lead
first."
the way.
Show us what to do.
People give Peter a lot of grief because he sunk, but hey, he walked.
And the only one.
I was gonna say there are 11 in the boat that just sat there.
For sure.
I'm just saying.
He's 1 out of 12 that did.
Yeah.
I think you said it, and I don't know that you said it in all of the services, but one of them you said something along the lines of, "There's going to be some walking and sinking at the same time." Did you say that, or did I hear that somewhere?
I don't remember saying
I'm
that.
gonna
I
give
could
you cre-
have.
I'm gonna
Let's
give
give Luke credit.
I mean,
for
I'll
that.
take
I'm gonna
it.
give
yeah.
you credit. It's almost like there's just a realism to it that when you walk, you're going to have some sinking in your life.
Yeah.
It's not like you're just going to walk on water
Mhm.
and you'll never sink.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I did. I alluded to the fact that, there are going to be times where we're going to experience that storm. Just because he calls us doesn't mean that we're not going to experience that, but he's going to be there to catch us when we get distracted, when we get focused. So, yeah.
You hit on that word immediately in there, and just talking about how Peter begins to sink. He gets distracted by the storm. He looks around and he takes his focus off of Jesus, and he begins to sink into the water. But it was that immediate factor there that Jesus reaches down, grabs him, and rescues him and saves him. And it's just kind of that reassurance there. You used the illustration about a new parent having their baby try to take some steps and stuff like that. They're not a parent's not going to let their child get hurt. And man, our Savior's not allowing us to sink without Him being right there to rescue us.
Right. Yeah, that word immediately, that's a powerful word. That the parent illustration, I guess, just hits home to me because I am one, and I did go through that.
And somebody's a grandparent,
yeah.
but then new
Yay.
grandbaby.
Yeah, that's right.
yes.
So
I'm going to see her in a few minutes.
hey, nice. But yeah, this I think that helps it hit home to me. Just like I'm going to be there to catch them when they fall.
Mhm.
How much more is our Savior going to be there to catch us when we just cry out for help?
Love it.
Yeah.
People would look at Upward right now, and things are going really well right now. We've got a parking lot going on, a campus going on. We broke our attendance record this Easter. So many good things are happening, but goodness, there's been so many times in my life and in y'all's too, where in the middle of it, of this work, you just felt like you were sinking. felt like you weren't doing so good, that things weren't going so well. I remember we lived in Fletcher for years. For 16 years, we lived in Fletcher. And there would be times I would be at home and I'm just overburdened and I'm just thinking, God, this thing's going to crash. It's not going to work. And my typical thing is I just need to get out of the house, and I would go to the grocery store. So I would go to Ingles there in Fletcher. Whenever I go into Ingles in Fletcher, I don't go there much anymore, but when I go in, I remember the times that my brain was exploding and I just needed to go to the grocery store. I like the grocery store. And I remember walking through the grocery store, and I would say this to the Lord, and this happened to me multiple times in that grocery store. I said, God, you call me to do this. What is going on?
Yeah.
You called me. I didn't volunteer for this. I didn't sign up for this. I didn't want this. I didn't ask for this,
Yep.
but you called me here. What is going on?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm drowning right now. Maybe this encourages somebody out there that just because God said go does not mean you won't feel like you're drowning sometimes.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But he catches you, you know?
Yep, absolutely.
And people might look at us now and think, yeah, all of it's been up and to the right. The graph's always going in the right direction. My goodness, no. There
Not
were
true.
times
Yeah.
there were times when I was in despair, and I would just ask my wife, I'm saying, is everything falling apart right
Yep.
now? Because it felt that way.
Oh, absolutely. There have been many times I've been under the water.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, God, help me out here. Yeah, I mean, it's for sure.
It feels like things go wrong in 3s or 4s at a time.
Yeah.
But you'll go through this wonderfully growth season, exciting season, or a peaceful season, and then all of a sudden 4 things hit, and you're like the boat's sinking,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
And even in the times where things are going really, really well, I mean, in that things are growing in the right direction, there's still a lot of powerful winds and storms that come along with that as well. I mean, we've been in some of our best seasons, and I have still felt that same sinking feeling at times. I don't want to talk about today, but
We might have had a meeting like that today. Yeah, people don't realize, too, that growth is a challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, goodness gracious. People think growth is like you're just sitting back on this ride and it's just a wonderful thing and it's fun. And of course you want to see it grow. But my goodness, growth brings all kinds of incredible challenges with it. And you can just start drowning in the success of it all, you know.
But isn't that Peter right here? This is a growing moment for
I
Peter
guess
as
you're
he's
right,
stepping
yeah.
as he's stepping out of the boat. He's stepping on the water. He's a growing moment right here where he's trusting in Jesus. But the growth isn't always up and to the right. He doesn't just like magically learn this lesson and he
Yeah.
never stumbles again, you know, right? It's
Yeah.
he sinks again and Jesus rescues him. So I mean, there is growth, just humanly speaking, and even in our relationship with Christ. There are, the up and to the right, and in that you're learning through the storms at the same time.
Yeah.
And we're doing stuff we've never done before. Stuff
Yeah.
It's all new.
stuff that, Peter never walked on water. And it's stuff that really is beyond what would make sense that we could do. We're seeing all that stuff happen. And it's like, yeah, we're walking on water right now in some ways. We're walking in the miraculous, the supernatural. I guess the message for me, I'm getting blessed by all this, is don't get discouraged when you start to sing. It's Jesus that's holding you up.
That's it.
That's a good one-liner right there.
That's it.
Don't be, I've forgotten it already.
Don't get discouraged when you sink.
Yeah. I just wonder, did he just, I want to see him walking out from the shore across the waves. I wonder if I'm ending the podcast on a pure speculation here, but did he come down? He was up on a mountain praying, I think, and he saw them out there. Did he just walk down off the mountain straight out into the waves, just straight out there? Did he float out there and land? I really want to figure that out one day. Did anyone see him walk out? The Chosen.
That's right. Yeah.
The Chosen's got after the message, I went back and watched The Chosen. I think it's season 4 at the end. They're doing that scene of Jesus walking on water, and there's this Roman centurion, standing on the sea looking out, and you don't really know what he saw. And I was thinking about that, seeing it the other day. Wonder if he in the movie anyway. Wonder if he saw Jesus walk out there.
That'd be crazy.
That would
Yeah, it
be.
would. All right, y'all. Well, ending on a very very interesting note there. But
I like it.
We'll
yeah.
find out.
Great to have y'all. See you next time, and great job again, Luke.
Thank you very
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
All right.
See you.
Bye-bye.